Hey folks, Bada Bing here. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a good one. Oh yes, I would like to introduce you to a friend of mine, and it has crossed continents just to be here for you today. Literally, I could not have ordered it from a place further away. It comes all the way from Japan. Now let's bring out my special guest. What's in the box? What's in the box? Well, I'll tell you what's in the box. It's Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Damn, was this difficult to get through customs, but I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy, and here we are. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Here we are. Oh, finally. 3 hours later. Okay, let's move. First impressions, the box looks cool. With the ribbon, as TM always does. Beautiful. It's always such an occasion with their releases, their boxes, and I just love that. And 1, 2, 3 additional AKM mags for the brand new Tokyo Marui AKM gas blowback rifle. I can smell it from here. It smells lovely. It's got that fresh, sacred Tokyo Marui factory smell. You guys know what I mean. If you've smelt it before, you know exactly what I mean. Let's just peel this out of the box, shall we? Wow, it's got a bit of weight to it. It feels heavier than my GHK AKM for sure. Wow, okay. As I read on the internet, the furniture is plastic. However, I really don't mind that. That looks... Okay, let me just actually look off of my viewfinder and look at it with my own eyeballs, shall I? That doesn't look too bad. I was complaining about it previously, having seen some stock photos, but that's okay. Front handguards, yeah. You know, where they got the bulge here on the handguard, it doesn't look quite as nice. It looks a little bit nasty, but okay. Zoom in on the Fakelite grip, which has got a really nice dark Russian Bakelite color to it. I've got the Polish Bakelite grip on my GHK, and those are lighter in color, more of a light reddy color. This one follows the look of the Russian Bakelite grip really rather well. Alright, pan over. Right, finishing on the rifle. Yeah, you got that kind of sparkly finish. It's not amazing, okay? It could do with some artificial weathering, really, if you're down with that, because it looks too brand new. Well, because it is brand new. You know what I mean. Okay. Under the buttstock. Cool. They put a little piece of foam on there to protect the finish. Okay. All right. Let's go in a little bit more. You got the factory is at the Izmash logo there with the arrow in the triangle. Some more of the markings around here, the proof markings. Handguard, yeah, they've done the best they could considering it's made from plastic. I mean, you can see they've gone to the attention to detail with the wood grain. However, yes, you can tell it's still a plastic handguard. It serves its purpose. Okay. And then we got the front iron sight, which looks okay. Probably adjusts in elevation only, and with its slanted muzzle brake, typical AKM style. Sights. Okay. 1 to 1,000, yeah, that's pretty typical. Okay, so it's got it's not a stamped steel receiver, it's cast receiver. Top cover, how are we looking? Yep, that's steel. Okay, just as you'd expect. Oh, yeah, oops. Receiver pins, yeah, there's a steel, which, yeah, as you can expect. Trigger, no, nothing. Sight block, no. Gas tube, no. Outer barrel, no. But cleaning rod, yes. Flash hider, no. Front hand sight, no. Sling, yes. Stock plate, yes. Trigger guard, yes. Selector switch is good for steel too. So really, it's a front assembly, barrel assembly, a side block, and main AKM receiver. That's not made of steel. Anyway, let's continue on. The box itself, I usually make a big deal out of the box, which I do when I first rip this open, but I was so excited I just couldn't help myself but take a look at the AKM as it is. You got a really nice canvas material. Accessory box, so you got muzzle caps and BBs. Actually, it is a 6mm BB. Really cool little box, the kind of distressed cardboard look that they got going on here. The barrel plug, iron sight tool, front iron sight tool. Yeah, it's typical stuff you find with the TM stuff, with the manual. Oop, concealed underneath the top foam padding, and it's in. Well, I guess this is fairly true to what you might see on a Russian military AK with the. But it's kind of cheap at the same time, where they just thought, okay, we'll just chuck everything in a brown envelope. Yeah, it's fine. Put a stamp on it, send it to somebody. Manual, targets, and some other information that TM usually provide with their stuff. Owner's manual. Where are we? Yeah, fairly standardized stuff. Nothing in English to see. You could just go by the diagrams. That's all you need. So let's take a look at the magazine. Wow, not as heavy as I thought it would be. That's actually quite light. Yeah, guys, this is really light. For a gas blowback and a gas blowback AK mag, this thing's light. Really like that. Let's take a look at the finer details on the top. So this is obviously where it runs out of ammo, and that's how it does the hammer drop thing when it's empty. something which my GHK does not have. It just gets a mushy trigger, and that's about it. Got like a fire, a block that guards on the output valve and flicks up when it's empty, maybe. Okay, cool. All right, snaps into place. Really, that's really positively. That is super positive. Doesn't feel like the GHK where you have to kind of find the correct angle and get the feed lips in between the nozzle loading nozzle. It's just rock and lock. Easy as that. That's beautiful. Oh yeah, it's cool. Okay, so let's take off the top cover and dive into the receiver of the AK. So really nice and positive, easy to remove. That's cool. All right. Real chunky hammer here. See that? Bang. Right, let's charge it for the very first time. See what we're looking at here. Okay. You got the bolt carrier coming back, and looks like that a spring assisted buffer back there, kind of looks like it. And then it's catapult bolt back. So, okay, slow on return. Let's go for the second charge. Alright. Quite a slow return to battery. Okay. Okay. Oh wow, just keeps on going. Alright. Just like the real AK, really. GHK, that's not like that at all. You only get really that much on the GHK. But in this one, you get the two-piece recoil spring rod design. Like that, that's cool. Prior to opening this AK box up and having a look and getting actual hands-on experience with this thing, I haven't looked at any videos or actual user pictures prior to seeing this in the flesh here, because I didn't really want to be spoiled, you know, like movie spoilers sort of thing. I'd rather get a fresh impression rather than see something online. Alright, let's take a look at that. Alright, bolt carrier. It feels quite heavy. Solid though, really solid. A one-piece design, unlike the GHK. I keep on reverting to the GHK, but I can't help it. That's the only gas blowback AK I've had prior to this one, because they had a separate tube design here where it would screw in their gas piston. The nozzle. Wow, look at that. Big old chunky nozzle. It looks very similar. Well, it doesn't look very similar, but it's a chunky old nozzle end. Look at that. It'd be interesting to see how long the nozzle spring lasts when I start pumping propane through it. Just like the GHK, it's got an elongated tail where it houses much of the nozzle. So full travel, at this moment in time, it's not looking very likely unless someone were to make a full travel kit. Looking at it here, might not be possible, I don't know, but seeing as Tokyo Marui guns in general, they are really well looked after by the third party. So I won't be surprised if anyone puts together a full travel AK kit. That would be pretty cool. A lot of people out there would probably go for one of those. I personally wouldn't, because I prefer performance over full travel recoil, and that's only because what really does it do for you in game? I mean, when you're shooting someone on obviously in the skirmish, you're not going to be sort of focusing on, oh, do you see this? I shot that guy over there, but did you feel that recoil of the full travel bolt? No, you don't think that at all. You're just concentrating on shooting the dude in front of you. So a full travel kit has no real value for me. So let's take a look into the guts of the rifle. Oh, that's interesting. So safety on, and you cannot actually cock the hammer back. So chuck the safety down. There we are. It looks like a removable trigger box. However, it's still fairly wide open, just like an AK should be. So you've got the hammer, so let's try and let that go if you can. Right. Reset. How do you do this? There we go. Ah, there we are. So you've got that whole arrangement there. You've got the valve striker locked into place really positively, and let's try and how do we do this? Here we are. There's the valve striker retracted. There we go. Okay, cool. And we have the hop-up adjustment, which looks to be right there, so a little bit... Is that right there? No, it's right here. Sorry, my bad. Yep, there's a hop-up wheel just right there. So you got... It looks like it's numbered as well. So you got 8 facing at the moment. Okay. Yep, so there's a hop adjustment right there. And you know what, I should really read the manual, but I can't be bothered. Alright, so I pulled out a couple of other AK mags. Now these are from my GHK AK, and I just wanted to compare these with the latest Tokyo Marui AKM mags. Now I'm going to say right now, these will not be compatible at all. Tokyo Marui never really borrows anyone else's designs for pretty much anything, so they'd rather do it themselves, and that's what they have done. So yeah, these magazines are not compatible with one another. However, my main point for taking a look at this to see the dimensions of these two magazines and how different they are from one another. The Tokyo Marui mag, while it feels the same thickness of the GHK mag, it's slightly different. Now the reason why I'm comparing the mags, not because I want to try and run the GHK mags in the TM, but I want to see real Bakelite mags. Excuse me, I just got my... Take a look at this. Rocky, you, mister. What are you doing? What are you doing? You are on my paper AKM package. What are you doing? No, that's my AKM mag. You mustn't touch that. You mustn't sniff it either. But you will anyway. Okay. Real Izhmash Bakelite AK magazine, adapted for the GHK internals. Now I want to see what the feasibility is like of converting one of these to fit TM internals. Probably not going to go very well, I'll be honest. Doesn't look like it'll be able to do that because much of the externals of the TM look to be the gas tank itself, which is a shame. I'll have a bit more in-depth look at it when I take these things apart, but yeah, doesn't look like it's going to be possible, unfortunately. Okay, now the other thing I need to know is, what is the trigger like? The M4? Yeah, I don't like the M4 trigger, but what's their AKM doing? Oh, that reset. That's good. There's no hesitation now. That's all really good, positive. Okay, squeeze in a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so the trigger comes in just a fraction until you hit that kind of wall. Where is it? Right there, right there. Then squeeze past it. There we go, brakes. Reset. Perfect. Not as heavy of a reset as the GHK, however, that is positive right there. That's nice. Doesn't feel toyish or like the M4 or like an AEG. That's crisp. Love it. Okay, now here's these lovely ladies. Got the TM AKM and the GHK AKM, which I've had for about 8 years. Yeah, something around 8 years. Let's do this. First shots of the TM AKM. Okay. Why is it not? That's weird, right? Be right back. Okay. It's got that good rhythm to it. Boy, can you make this rifle sing with that trigger. It is excellent. Alright, so let's take this up to the middle position and see if it can burn through an entire magazine, shall we? Alright. Okay, didn't completely flame out there, but managed to go all the way through and have the hammer drop on empty, just like it should. Okay, let's do this again. Now it flamed out, with BBs to spare. But that's okay, it was a cold mag, and I charged it up again after the last time, so okay, alright. Alright, so as you can see, you got the return spring of the AK, which is quite slow. It's quite a soft recoil spring, but it gives you a report just like this. So very similar to like the chatter you get on a real AK. It's just like that, and yeah, it is enjoyable to shoot. Someone's gonna say, why don't you do a mag dump with both AKs? Alright. It's not gonna be in shot, but I don't care. Here we go. Whew. Propane. And what a rush. I tested the FPS with the AKM with propane and 0.2 grain BBs, and the opening shots were just over 360 FPS, and then it slowly went down to 350 and then 340s, so might be a little bit too strong for the UK, so you're going to want to get in there and chuck in an MPAS or something along those lines, just to take the edge off. Now for those people that are living in countries where you don't have to bother with any of those FPS reducing measures, but you want a little bit more FPS out of your AKM, it's just as easy as installing a new inner barrel. Now, on the AKM and the M4s that they make, their inner barrels are only just over 200mm long. Now they do that just so that the FPS doesn't go over the Japanese requirements, their regulations. If they do have a long inner barrel to the end of the outer barrel, then of course in the summer, it's going to be a bit warmer than it would do in the winter. So that's why they do it. So if you're in a country that can allow for higher FPS, just chuck in a longer inner barrel right to the end and you'll be good to go. Now, I also tested the round count per gas fill and I was able to squeeze out 90 shots. Whereas the M4, when I first got it, it was only capable of about 58 shots. So with the larger magazine, you've got larger gas capacity. The other issue which I've had is, while 90 shots sounds like a lot, it's really not as good as other GBBRs, and a lot of people might be looking to perform the green gas mod. And if you see the siphon tube on the inside, just like the same as the Marui M4 NWS series, the siphon tube inside, if you remove sections of it or take it out entirely, that will allow you to insert more liquid gas into the magazine, thus increasing the volume of gas, and then your shot count per gas fill will go up. Now the issue there is, if you fill it up all the way with gas, you lose that space inside that magazine to convert that liquid into a gas, and if you got a lot of that liquid in there, guess what? That's going to get fed through the nozzle and down the barrel. You're going to have liquid gas shooting out of the ejection port, out of the barrel. Your BBs are going to do this. Performance goes right down. No good whatsoever. So if you are looking to do the green gas mod, and that is completely at your own risk, you need to time your gas charges properly so you don't choke the gun up. Now, do I recommend doing it? No, well, it's not my call. You're an adult, you can do whatever you want, but that's an issue which you would probably find yourself in. Make sure you don't choke the gun up, okay? So what's my verdict on the TM-AKM? Well, let me just say, this is not a review. It's not a review. This is just an overview, okay? In a year's time, I'll be able to probably give you a good review on this rifle, but we just met and I'm still learning how this rifle is and just enjoying putting the rounds through it and seeing what makes it tick and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's not a review, this is just how I see things right at the moment. Now, my main issues that I have with this rifle, and I do have a few, the number one thing I do not like with this rifle is the fact that performance can be, underwhelming, okay? You can probably see by my facial expression within the first few magazines, yes, I'm enjoying the recoil because it does jump around a lot, and that's really nice. But in the latter part of the magazine, it tends to chug a little before the hammer drops after the last shot, okay? So that's the thing which I'm finding at the moment. It is quite underwhelming, and very much in the same way the M4 was when I first got it. It was very underwhelming towards the end of the magazine. Now with the AKM, you've got a very, very soft recoil spring. If I were keeping this rifle, I'm still on the fence on if I'm going to keep it or not, but if I were keeping the rifle, I would most likely put in a stiffer recoil spring just to make the working parts return back to battery just a little bit quicker, because at the moment it is a rated gun for 144A or duster gas. It's not designed for propane at all. Secondly, the gas capacity in the magazine, because it's not making it the last few shots as good as the first, from the first to the last shots. It's not remaining that consistent from BB1 to 35, and that's the thing which disappoints me the most. I will try the green gas mod in this rifle just to see if I can squeeze a little bit more performance out of it, because I know it can do it. I have seen it perform from 1 to 35 really well. It just needs a little bit of a helping hand to make that performance be a bit more consistent for you. Okay, it needs to be great from 1 to 35, and I'm going to try and find that good balance with the green gas mod. Maybe take a few centimeters off the long tube inside that magazine to see if I can squeeze just a little bit more gas into it. I don't know, I'm going to try things as they are. It worked for me with the original Marui M4 mags, but back then they were the first batch, so yeah, not so good. That's why they released a improved magazine after a year or so. So that's my big complaint of the TM-AKM so far. It's not the furniture, it's not the cast receiver, it's none of that. It's really the performance which I'm after, and at the moment it's not giving it to me. It's there, I just have to find it, and I shouldn't have to find it, but that's probably what I'm gonna have to do. So apart from the performance issues, some things that the TM-AKM has done right. You got the trigger action, which really is miles better than their M4. The finishing of the rifle, not necessarily the condition of the paint or coatings that they used, I mean the finishing of the external components. Everything is smooth to the touch, everything's well defined. There's no casting flaws, there's no burrs, there's no mold lines. It's all super smooth and really well finished, something which other brands don't tend to do quite as well, and TM have done it exceptionally well on this AK. It does give you that toy gun vibe. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It does feel like a toy gun while it is solid and it's got a good weight to it. There's no getting around it. It is definitely a toy gun rifle. If you're still here, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, why not hit the like, and if you haven't done so already, and I bet you've seen some of my videos in the recommended section of YouTube, if you keep on seeing it there and you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and smash the subscribe button and join me in this journey of this AKM and many, many more. And I hope to see you on the next video. So until then, look after yourselves. Catch you in a bit. Wolverines!